I just fucking wanted to make a video about how fucking stupid I am. Which is not going to be a surprise to anybody. I'm aware of this. However, it just, like, I don't know. Fucking, I need to, like, I don't know, tell somebody how stupid I am or some shit, and maybe fucking, then I'll not be as dumb in the future, which I know is a long stretch. Anyways, so got my little Baker forklift here. This thing's slicker than shit. I absolutely fucking love it. It's been working fantastic for me. I drained some coolant out of it and it's low to the ground, so just spilled it on the floor, whatever. Anyways, so this is what we're working with. An old Baker forklift built by the Otis Elevator Company, Cleveland, Ohio. And I have not been able to find very much information about these things. If somebody can point me in the direction of finding more information on these, that would be absolutely fucking outstanding. But so used it the other day. It was working great, working fantastic. Parked it in the shop and it wouldn't start, like it wouldn't crank. And so I was like, okay, fuck, whatever. I'll dig into it and see what's going on. And then I pulled the dipstick on it and realized that there is coolant in the oil, so that's custom. Hopefully it's just a head gasket. That'd be pretty slick. But then that brought up the first issue of what engine this is, because I don't recognize this thing just looking at it. So I also had the deal of it not starting, and so I pulled the battery out. The battery sits right here, and of course the starter's buried way down in there, and somebody installed the starter with what I would call upside down solenoids at the bottom. Just makes it difficult to get to. And come to find out, this is a Continental f163, even though I'm sure you can't read the tag, which is a shame because it's a really cool old tag. And it's unfortunately like halfway painted over and shit. Yeah, you can't really see it, but yeah, I guess that works. So fan towards the front and what have you. On this one, the distributor comes in through the top, and directly right under there, right there is where the tag is. So if somebody needs to find a tag on one of these, that might be where it is. So yeah, anyways, pulled the battery out and all that shit, try and see what was going on with the starter. I got the fucking power probe down in there and whatnot, trying to figure out what's going on. And hit the starter, and the starter worked, and I was like, okay, great, that's cool. And then fucking realized when I was turning the key that I had power down there, and so I was like, what the fuck? Well, come to find out, my dumb ass had left the son of a bitch in gear, and that's why it wouldn't start. So on one hand, that was extremely frustrating, but on the other hand, at least I found the engine tag for it and what have you. And yeah, I don't know. Figured I'd make a video about it because, the easiest person to fool in the world is yourself. And unfortunately, this is not the first time I've done this, as far as, try and diagnose why something won't start when my dumb ass just left the fucker in gear. But at the same time, I guess we're only human, and, sometimes you do dumb shit like that. I guess while I'm at it here, though, so this one is a propane forklift, and this here is the propane, who'd you call it? I actually don't know what these things are considered, and I really don't know fuck all about propane and how the shit works. At least not a setup like this anyways. But, so, what the fuck? Okay, so there's a hose. Yeah, there's a hose that runs from the carburetor, if you will, down to here. But what I noticed when I was running this thing is that once the engine got warmed up, the engine would rev very high at idle. And if you played with the throttle or whatever, it would still rev high, and it didn't really seem like anything made an effect on that. Just now, fucking around with it, I realized that there's actually coolant lines. So, like, if we trace that line out there, coolant lines that run up to the top of the head, the other one goes up to right there. And so I put a valve on it here so that I could shut off the coolant flow to that to see, what kind of a difference that makes. And especially for an old forklift like this and for a dork like me, I don't want to put on modern valves on this thing, that are made in India or some bullshit like that. And so, handily enough, or whatever you want to call it, this thing being made in Cleveland, I got some Ohio brass, new old stock globe valves to put on here, and I just bought these on eBay, and these are actually cheaper than getting modern offshore garbage. Which, for one, I don't want to support, some other economy. I want to support our economy. Which, okay, granted, these valves are 40, 50 years old or whatever, but at the same time, at least with purchasing these, I'm not purchasing ones from India or whatever. But also, it's really cool too, the forklift was made in Cleveland, Ohio, and I got Ohio brass valves to go on it. And I eventually am going to, fix this thing up pretty good and, breathe some new life into it and what have you. And I figured I'd just kind of start one little thing at a time here. But yeah, if anybody has any recommendations on where to get parts for this old girl, I would sure like to hear it. My understanding is that this is effectively the same engine that came in the SA200 welders, which would be really cool if that's the case, because then presumably there's tons and tons and tons of parts for these things out there, which would be slicker than shit. But yeah, there's my dumbass fuck up for the day, trying to figure out why the damn thing won't start when I just simply left it in gear. So there you go.